waiting to go live.
We're,
We are live. There it is. Okay, we're back and we are taking up. Not there, S 254, which is an act relating to including rechargeable batteries and battery containing products under the state battery stewardship program. I got it, right?
This is Mike O'Grady with Legislative Council. I'm going to talk to you today about S 254 and minor amendment to 254 that came out of the Natural Resources Committee, and then a technical amendment that needs to be made to 254 because of we can't really figure out why. Well, let me start with the context of what 254 is. I think you are all aware that the state has several different programs that are often referred to as extended producer responsibility program, by which there is a statute that requires the manufacturer of a product to establish a program subject to criteria set forth in a plan for the free collection of the waste or disposed item, so that the cost is not on the consumer or local government to deal with the disposal of that waste item. Vermont has established an extended producer responsibility program called the Battery Stewardship Program for what are called primary batteries right now. And primary batteries under the current law are, and I can read that to you, they're non-rechargeable batteries weighing 2 kilograms or less, including alkaline and lithium metal batteries. So it does not include, right now, it does not include rechargeable batteries. It does not include industrial batteries. It does not include what are called business to business batteries. It does not include batteries that are in a product that are easily removable. And it does not include batteries and medical devices that you can buy from a store like a retail
Like hearing aid
pharmacy.
batteries.
It doesn't include them right now either. Now, it didn't include those batteries at the time that the Battery Stewardship Program was first enacted, because first, there was the a rechargeable battery stewardship organization that was implementing its own voluntary rechargeable battery collection program. And then for the not easy to access, those devices were going into the electronic waste program. But since then, rechargeable batteries are a lot more popular. There are many more of them on the market. They are coming into the primary battery stewardship program, collection program, and it is causing issues for the administration of that program. And the voluntary rechargeable battery program that had been in effect isn't operating well anymore. So 254 amends the battery stewardship program to bring rechargeable batteries into the program. In addition, it will also include battery containing products where the battery in the product is not already part of the battery stewardship program. You've all probably seen this. You open up your brand new televisions, remote control, and these batteries fall out with a language you don't even recognize. And that battery is not in the battery stewardship program, but it will bring that product and that manufacturer into this program with the amendments to this bill. It also brings industrial batteries in because it increases the weight of the batteries that are subject to the program from 2 kilograms, which is 4.4 pounds, to not more than 25 pounds. So before, it was thought that those larger batteries were going to be too unwieldy to deal with. Well, it turns out those larger batteries are the ones that blow up and cause fires when they're mixed with municipal solid waste. So now they are part of the program as well. And then those easily purchase devices in pharmacies where you can get a battery. Medical devices, true prescribed medical devices, say you're traveling CPAP that has a chargeable battery in it, that's still going to be exempt. But those devices you can buy at the grocery store, the pharmacy, etc. Those with those batteries, those products will also be part of the program. If their batteries are not already part of the program. So that's what this bill does. It basically brings in those batteries, rechargeable, industrial, those medical devices, the large batteries, it brings them into the program. Beginning in January 1, 2026.
You talk about medical devices, those are hearing aids, are the ones I remember. And I remember when we did this, I'm not sure what committee I was on, but we had doctors ask us not to recycle them or not, because they were afraid of having amounts of small batteries which young children can easily swallow sitting around the house. Most people have a cup and, you throw the battery in it. And children have swallowed them and have had some serious health issues. So did you hear anything about that?
Didn't hear anything about that, and I'm not sure the committee heard testimony on one of the reasons why these devices are coming in. You probably, I know, I've looked at them myself. You can buy hearing aids in the pharmacy now without a prescription, right? And you don't need to go to the doctor anymore. And so they're much more common, they're much more available. And so the batteries that are in them and their use are much more commonly being thrown in the trash than they used to be.
So when I replace my batteries, can I bring them back to the pharmacy right away, or do I need to put them in a little cup on the kitchen windowsill and wait for 6 months till there's a battery day at my solid waste? Or
well, with most of these programs, there have to be 2 collection points, convenient collection points that are available 20, of regular business hours for you to drop off your used product, your used battery. In addition, this program allows retailers to opt in to be a collection point as well. So your local hardware store could be a collection point. That's where I take mine back to, is the hardware store. But you could, in the solid waste management facilities as well, they can act as collection sites also.
I wonder if Albertsons does that around here.
Pardon me?
I said it'd be nice to know. I know I can take my paint cans back, but know what? Maybe I need to go in and ask and take batteries. Because I have a lot of battery operated Christmas lights, so I now have a large selection of AA batteries in my house that I would like to recycle.
It's not those.
This is not those.
Well,
I already have to take already have to take double, triple A, BCD batteries.
It's all,
Yes, that's already.
these
I
are
just
different.
Keep waiting to get over to the solid waste district. If Aubuchon's would recycle them, that be much more convenient. Rather than the big city.
Some hardware stores do it, I think, in part because not just convenience for their customers, not only, but also it brings you back in the store.
Yes, or I might find one better.
So.
What's our part?
Well, I was just gonna get to that. So in order to run and in order to sell your products, your batteries, your battery containing products in the state, you need to have a battery stewardship organization that is implementing an approved battery stewardship collecting plan. the Battery Stewardship Organization pays the state a fee. It's 15, so I'm trying to find it. $15,000. That sounds significant, but and it's annual, but it is for one or two programs. And it's the agency's cost for overseeing those programs. And remember, it's all of the battery manufacturers and all the battery containing product manufacturers that are part of these plans. So it involves checking to see that those manufacturers, their brands are properly listed as participants so that they can be sold, checking that the programs are meeting their goals, meeting their environmental stewardship requirements, meeting their education requirements. So $15,000 is the fee. It is on page 29 of S-254 as introduced. Those fees go into the Environmental Permit Fund, which is the fund that the Agency of Natural Resources uses for staff costs.
Okay, and the $15 is the same fund that the same
It's
amount,
15,000.
15,000 is the same money that manufacturers that are in the present program are
Yes,
paying.
yes.
So we're extending the number now, if it isn't the same, well, I suppose,
So you have potential for a new stewardship organization or two, because you're expanding the universe and the scope of this program. And I'm gonna talk about an issue, I'll talk about it now. When this was first enacted, it was the first in the country. And the manufacturers, the battery manufacturers at that point, they didn't always like each other. They didn't play well together.
oh,
And so there was concern that they were gonna like have multiple stewardship or they don't, but you still have these kind of will
it's highly.
remnants that are remaining. There might be one or two additional stewardship organizations that are added because of, hey, you've got different types of products. You know, people that historically have had some bad blood. And so
Well, I assume something like your hearing aid, your medical products are going to have a new program.
you will have opportunity for I will call it a niche
Mhm.
collection program, but there is opportunity for that.
Okay, but if Duracell presently has a program to take back their regular batteries, can they just say, okay, we'll put the
Well, that's
rechargeable batteries in that program?
the program does require you to collect every covered battery that comes back to any approved collection point. So even if you're gonna try to set up a niche collection point, somebody comes in with a 10-pound battery in
You gotta do-
in February 2026, you have to take it back.
Okay, but I'm just saying Duracell because it's a big battery company. If they have a stewardship program for their batteries now, we're now adding their recyclable. Do they have to set up a rechargeable? They have to set up a second or just put it in?
They can just join. One of the great things about all these programs is that there's a condition that the stewardship organizations can't put up unreasonable barriers to participation by others.
Okay,
So they have to allow them to join. And when you do that, and you allow them to all join and basically look like they're colluding, you also need to exempt them from state antitrust laws, which you do in all of these
we're doing
programs.
all of these.
So
Who was in here the other day said they couldn't talk about antitrust?
How many other states now have these programs? You have any idea?
Oh, there are a few that have that. I don't know the exact number. I can look into that for
There's
you.
relatively few of those,
It's not a lot.
and we were the first to do this.
We were the first to do batteries.
And larger batteries, there is no program that covers them, is that correct? And the
Well, not right now. You're gonna be going to 25.
25,
And the program is also going to allow for collection of defective lithium batteries, which are another one of the main
I was
fires.
thinking of automobile batteries. As you get more and more electric cars, and they seem to have more fires than my flashlight batteries.
They're not gonna meet the bat, but this
I
actually,
know this won't, yeah,
this actually has a report in it about how to deal with those.
okay.
Like a recommendation for how to deal with those in the future.
Yeah, that's an. I mean, someone who had an electric car and looked at all the batteries and said, this is gonna become more of a nuisance than driving a gas car. And we're gonna suddenly have a lot of them at some point, they wear out. We do need to be planning for that. I can assume the federal government doesn't require the manufacturers to take them back.
The federal government does not, but the federal government will treat at least some of them as hazardous waste, and then they'll have to be dealt with as hazardous under the federal hazardous waste.
We're gonna be creating a lot of hazardous waste at some point. You're right.
Yeah, I think, brought that, Washington, California, District of Columbia, and then something like 4 or 5 other states are in the process of looking at a similar law.
Any other questions?
Fire insurance.
Well, there was a fire actually at a MRF up your way, right?
Too bad in Chittenden County too, batteries cost all the time, sorry.
I had said to McDonald.
So we're talking about rechargeable batteries, are we not?
You're talking about it, not just rechargeable, you're talking about non-rechargeable and rechargeable battery now.
Plus medical products.
Plus medical products, plus industrial, plus defective lithium ion. But defective lithium ion have to go to a place that meets certain standards because they are of a greater risk.
The other question is, in terms of places that will accept these batteries as part of the program, when you get in extremely rural areas of Vermont, cities like Cleveland, is there an adequacy of recipient locations?
Well, the plan requires at least 2 convenient collection program places, sites per county.
Yeah.
And then this program also has the ability for retail to opt in. Some of the other programs don't because of the environmental issues like mercury containing light bulbs. You don't necessarily actually do lots of retail. There are a couple where you don't. The hazardous substances one that you just recently passed, if you don't allow retailers to take that back. Environmental threat with that.
Those who live in Guildhall, there actually is a place to take them.
I don't know if there's specifically one in Guildhall. The program is intended to help provide convenient locations. There may be places in the state, in any state, you're not gonna have as convenient collection as you would like. So I can talk about the amendments that, or are you all set with?
Did you make any major changes with amendments?
So the Senate Natural Resources Committee just clarified the definition of battery containing product. Because the way that it was introduced, it didn't account for a battery manufacturer whose batteries were in that battery containing product. And the battery manufacturer was already part of the program. In that case, the product manufacturer doesn't need to join because you've already achieved your goal of getting the batteries into the program. You only bring the product into the program when it's, as I did, gave an example earlier of the remote control with the batteries where you don't even know what the language is on. That's when they get brought into the program, the product is brought in, and that's the first instance of amendment and setting natural resources. And then the second instance of amendment, was striking in and replacing it with an or.
Okay, committee,
But, there's one more.
one more?
This section,
There was, an entire subchapter that fell out of the bill, and I can't figure out when and how it fell out of the bill. But it's kind of unique to this program, because as I explained earlier, back when this started, they weren't getting along with each other, and they wanted to know how they could sue each other in order to get reimbursement for the batteries that they collect from the producers that they didn't like. And so that subchapter fell out. I've been trying to, backwards engineer how it happened, but I can't figure it out. But it needs to go back in so that they don't start.
And that Scrivener guy, he does a lot of.
Okay,
So I drafted that as an amendment from Senator Bray. I don't know how you.
oh, you want that amendment to come in?
I'm not saying that you have to do it. I'm just letting you know that there's gonna be this amendment, and so that you're not surprised.
Oh, okay, on the
Full
floor.
disclosure.
All right, okay, but our jurisdiction in here is expanding that $15,000 fee to any newly required stewardship, battery stewardship program.
And you won't know if there will be new ones until a year or two down the line as the implementation for those new batteries.
So no fiscal impact this year.
I can't see one now. Unless they start warring with each other again and they don't wanna play nice and they have to form their still.
Okay. Committee, does anyone have a problem with expanding the fees? If not, I'll put this on for a vote tomorrow. We'll get it on its way. I was supposed to be pretty catch up right this. Okay, I think that's
I was going to put another room in the house, which I call the Bray room. And all the things that I gotta say to throw away.
when I came over and helped to build that addition to put all the bottles in, now you could just use that. I think we could just use that.
I will tell you that when I showed up at Home Depot one time with like a trash bag full of batteries, they were like, yeah. They were like, you're well past the threshold. And I'm like, okay.
I'll go out in the car and I'll come in with 10 this time and I'll go back and I'll come in with another 10.
All right, thanks.
Committee, that is it. I think we've done what we're.
Lively day.
It was more lively than some, but I'm saying, I can't get used to those of us who are new here. This is a really slow pace. This is the committee that put out 5 net metering bills in 2 days.
What's going on? I was wondering why it's so.
I don't know, if we're getting poorer quality bills or not. They just, nothing cut traction this year.
We're just highly functioning. We're highly functioning.
I think so. And there aren't as many bills as there
Not
used to
down.
be. There used to be hundreds of tons.
Yeah, of course, the house isn't done with us yet.
No, oh no. And there will be some major ed funding ed things.
Well, maybe that's good. We
And,
should do something.
I did encourage Commissioner Bolio and Commissioner Farrell to
come in
be
and talk
more
about how we feel.
proactive about scheduling $1,000 for funding.
Okay. No, and I'm not gonna see him tonight because the house is on the floor until 7 o'clock, so.
Right, yeah, yeah, next week.
Next, yeah, yeah, I don't know if we don't have the housing bill, so we can't take action.
Oh, yeah, I know, I just figured
can
if we have a
come in.
lull, they
Yeah.
can at least
Yeah, we can
talk
have
about
him
the
in.
next pieces,
He-
and we have
I
our
told
next
him,
piece
and
that
he-
we're looking.
So we were taking it up. I don't
Right.
think he's given up on it, but. Maybe.
I told him that was your worry, and I think he's gonna respond.
That's fine, he can respond.
Yeah.
It ain't over till it's over, and Reigate is just getting so miserable. We can hope the house sends us something, or maybe the house will send Ag something that it could go on if we get it straightened up. But
We would just do the extension and then the house can try to add some other language.
I don't know that everybody feels comfortable. This is the third round with these new owners. And they bankrupt everything else. This was supposed to be. But if the money is so tight, I mean, if the money's so tight, they can't afford to pay their loggers, their suppliers, then we have one problem. If they're just siphoning off the money to corporate headquarters and not pay. But they're getting a substantial subsidy from the state right now. And I think we have a right to have our people paid on time. Isn't that in that constitutional amendment?
Pretty sure that they are paid in that kind of
Oh, I'm sure they are.
by the utilities.
Yes, they are getting paid. And if you can't afford to pay your suppliers. And the other people always manage to pay their suppliers. No, they want us to give them a proposal rather than they come in and talk to us. And I find that,
Sure, interstate commerce is, you can't pass the bill, it says pay from suppliers first.
Pretty
no,
sure
just
you,
say all suppliers, I'm sorry, suppliers have a right to be paid. And if they can't pay their suppliers, then maybe we should just shut the place down.
I think there is a school of thought in the business world, that's, I don't think it's a majority, but it is. There are people who figure if you pay all your suppliers full on time, you're a fool. And that you can get away with a lot, but just not paying them. And some of them have done very well. I mean,
They became
politically also.
Yes,
Some of them
but
were
these-
president.
Maybe
These are people who are getting substantial subsidy in their income from the state of Vermont.
Yeah,
And their predecessors managed to pay people on time. Unless the loggers have gone up extensively in their pricing. Yeah, and I think we need some guarantee that there actually is a contract for the building. And we need, I don't know, a statement that says they do have the cash to go through it. But think about that and see what kind of strings we can put on. I think to
Well,
receive
the
the subsidy, we
auditor
have a right to
accounts
know they have the
to
financial
scrutinize their
ability to
books.
go forward.